This is Christian Gomez with the New American Magazine, and today's top headline is entitled Pete Buttigieg for President, the Dems' newest media-anointed phenomena. Now, he's been described by CNN as the hottest candidate in the 2020 race. Now, as of a few weeks ago, you may have never heard of the name Pete Buttigieg unless you were living in South Bend, Indiana, where he has been the mayor of the city for the last 7 years. But now he's all over NBC, CNN, The Daily Show, late night talk show hosts are hosting him. And he appears to be the leading candidate in terms of popularity, at least this week for the Democratic Party. And today we have with us a guest star to talk about Pete Buttigieg, expert on the communist movement in the United States and around the world, author, filmmaker, and researcher from New Zealand, Trevor Loudon. Glad to have you again on the program.
Hey, look, it's great to be on. Thank you, Christian.
So I understand that you've done some research about Mayor Pete Buttigieg. What can you tell us about this candidate, the Democrats' newest rock star in the party?
Well, it's very typical of this election season. Just like Kamala Harris, who had a Marxist professor father, Pete is a red diaper baby. His father, Joseph Buttigieg, was one of the top Gramsci scholars in the world, president of the International Gramsci Society.
And what exactly is the Gramsci Society or Gramsci?
Well, Gramsci was an Italian communist. He was imprisoned under the fascists by Mussolini in the 30s, and he wrote his famous prison diaries. Now, what Gramsci advocated, he said communist revolution will not come through the working class. The Communist Party must infiltrate all elements of society, the unions, the media, education, the churches, everything, to instill a socialist consciousness in the working people. So this is the guiding ethos of Democratic Socialists of America, the largest Marxist group in the country.
And how is this related to Mayor Pete?
Well, Mayor Pete works very closely with Democratic Socialists of America. You know, he has inherited his father's Marxist outlook, judging by the company he keeps. Now Buttigieg Sr. was actively involved with the Freedom Road Socialist Organization and the Democratic Socialists of America. He attended the Communist Manifestivity in 1998, the 150th anniversary of the Communist Manifesto. So young Pete has been working actively with Democratic Socialists of America in South Bend, Indiana, notably Tony Flora, one of the local leaders, who's the head of the local labor movement in South Bend. And Pete has cooperated with him with Jobs with Justice, which is a DSA front. He helped with he supported the Honeywell strike, where DSA was striking against Honeywell, the big company, the main employer in South Bend. And Pete and his office were very, very closely supportive of that. So Pete has a very strong history with the local Democratic Socialists of America, which is not surprising because when he was a teenager, he wrote an essay which won him a nationwide prize. He went to Washington and that sort of thing, and that was on his idol, Bernie Sanders. You know, they're socialists, and Pete idolized this man.
So, in a recent interview on one of the channels that have had Pete Buttigieg on as a guest, he said that the political center of the United States of America is even to the left of the Democratic Party. So, considering these remarks by Pete Buttigieg, would you say that he is sort of a closet communist candidate in this run?
Absolutely. You know, that is the Democratic Socialists of America line. The political center is way to the left. They constantly harp on that. This is just their propaganda, right? So he is following completely the DSA, the Democratic Socialists of America line. He works with them. He idolizes their idol, Bernie Sanders. And interestingly, he also wrote an interesting comment. He said that as a teenager, he got himself on several political mailing lists, and he specifically mentioned Democratic Socialists of America. Now, who in Indiana in the early 2000s even knows who Democratic Socialists of America is. But he got on their mailing list. But he says, that's all right, because I got on the Republican Party mailing list as well. Well, that tells me that Pete Buttigieg got on the DSA mailing list, may have even been a member, but he knows that might come out one day. So he's got to say, well, look, I got on everybody's list. I got on the Republican list. I got on the Democrats list. But who gets on the Democratic Socialists of America list when you have a Marxist father who is aligned with Democratic Socialists of America, when you idolize DSA's hero, Bernie Sanders, and when you actively work in South Bend, Indiana, with many leaders of the local Democratic Socialists of America. This guy is a complete closet socialist. He is another fraud. He's another leftist pretending to be a moderate. That's who this guy is.
Now, you're also working on a film, Trevor, about the enemies in the church. Now, in doing research on that, have you come across anything regarding Mayor Pete Buttigieg? Because he has been talking a lot in the media recently about being, he's talked a lot about rather the Christian left. And he has said that his faith guides his politics, yet he has a very progressive take on Christianity. Has any of your research sort of intersected with his dealings with leaders in the Christian community?
Well, look, he switched, I believe, from Catholic to Episcopalian. And he did it around the time he got married to his male boyfriend. Now, the Catholic Church will not countenance gay marriage, but the Episcopalian Church is perfectly okay with it, because the Episcopalian Church has been the Communist Party at prayer for many, many decades now. They have soaked in the left-wing dogma. It's basically a socialist church. And I don't say that for every Episcopalian church, because it depends on the local pastor to some degree. But by and large, the Episcopalians are a very, very left-wing denomination now. So it's not surprising that Pete Buttigieg shifted from Catholic to Episcopalian, because really it's his politics shaping his religion, not his religion shaping his politics. Typical with leftists, they tell you the reverse of the truth.
Okay, well, thank you. Really good points you've brought up today, Trevor. That's all the time we have today on the program. Also, if you're watching out there, we would recommend that you read William F. Jasper's article, again entitled Pete Buttigieg for President, the Dems' newest media-anointed phenomena. Also, be sure to like and share this video and subscribe to the New Americans YouTube channel. And also, again, Trevor, thank you for joining us today on the program.
Look, a pleasure, Christian. Great to be on. Thank you.
Take care.
Thanks, Christian. Sorry it took so long to get organized.